Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2019, and you can find this I Have Spoken podcast on Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. Should there be others that we're on?
I mean, I'm sure there are. If you put it on Buzzsprout and Apple and stuff, it just goes out to other things.
I'm not really sure.
I don't know how that works.
We should figure that out. Also, you can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern, that's NickVern. In this week's episode, we're talking primarily about the first two episodes of The Mandalorian.
That was terrible.
That was terrible. That's why we need a soundboard. But joining us today is Slayer. Slayer's one of the members on some of Marcus's raid teams, and also, I believe, an AIE guildie.
I don't know.
Maybe. He'll become one of us.
At some point, he's going to make his way to the light side.
Anyways, welcome to the show, Slayer. And what have you been up to this week?
Mostly working, prepping up for Frozen, things like Star Wars that's coming in the future, and getting my tunes ready for raiding.
Nice.
Do they expect it to be crazy for Frozen 2?
For family movie, of course. I mean, it's going to be first big movie in a couple of months, to be fair.
Sure.
So to clarify, you work at a theater, correct?
Yes, I do.
Oh. So like, what kind of prep work goes into, like, prepping for a big release like that?
So let's make sure we've got enough inventory in place. That way, even if it's crazy busy, like due to rain or other weather, we have more than enough to get through the week. Make sure our staff's in place. Make sure we have all that lined up. That way, just in case something might go wrong, it's going to minimize the worst case.
Have you already seen the movie?
Nope.
Do you want to?
Not at all.
How do you not want to see Frozen?
I could care less, personally.
What's the appeal for me as a 33-year-old guy?
Anna?
Yeah, but like...
Sven?
Oh, God, no.
Fuck.
Well, yeah, I'm not into Frozen that much either. But...
I watch it a lot.
I know. Well, it's because you have a young daughter. She's 3, right? 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should probably know that a little more.
You don't have a choice on that anymore, Marcus.
Right.
Well, but what everybody does know or might not know is that she's completely addicted to Star Wars. So my wife will say, "Oh, let's watch Rapunzel." No, I want to watch Empire Strikes Back. And I'm just like, all right.
Sweet.
Daddy, can we have popcorn? We sure can. You want to watch Rapunzel? No popcorn. Winning. Anyways, Nick, what have you been up to?
So, I played a good amount of video games, a little bit of Call of Duty, which is always fun. I watched both episodes of The Mandalorian, which I really, 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 really enjoyed, but we're going to get into that obviously later. But I also played, so whenever...
What's The Mandalorian?
It's the new series out on Disney+, set after Episode 3, but before Episode 4.
Oh, okay. I never heard of it.
It follows a Mandalorian bounty hunter across his various adventures.
I thought it was a Boba Fett show.
Oh, my God.
I'm just kidding.
So, also, the main thing I want to talk about in my little weekly segment, when I originally wrote this on Tuesday, I had played about 10 hours of Jedi Fallen Order. That's now up to about 20 or 25 or so.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but I've been jamming. So, I initially didn't like it.
No,
so
you didn't.
I called Marcus like ranting, but then
he was crying.
I wasn't crying. There were no tears. It doesn't count if the tears don't leave your eyes.
Okay.
But then I realized that I only didn't like it because I'm absolutely terrible at platformers and melee combat video games, and this game is both of those. So I just like sucked it up and I really actually tried, and then I started not falling off things 24/7, and then I was fine. So I figured basically, long story short, I just stopped sucking, and then I really liked the game.
Now, I understand the controls are tough.
They're not too bad.
I wouldn't say tough, but like you have to play it to get used to it. You
Right.
can't just pick it up, play it a couple times, and then put it down for a month and pick it up again and be good.
Right.
So, would you say that as the story progressed, you got more into it?
Yeah, definitely. Most
Okay.
It starts off like most games start off pretty slow. You know what I mean? It's like a vague story, and you don't really care about the character. But then as you like build the story, you care more about the character and like the surrounding characters and things like that. As like things get fleshed out, they kind of give you more backstory as the story goes along. If that makes sense, you start out not knowing a whole lot about these people that you're working with, and then like you, the player, not like you, the character, and then you start getting backstory and caring more, and it makes it a lot more immersive and enjoyable. Then also me figuring out how to actually play, that made it a lot better. But I really like the structure of the story's pretty cool because you're in an Empire controls everything like universe, because it's right after Episode 3 where they took over and killed all the Jedi and things like that. So you play as like this is all going to be spoiler free, just general things. You play as a Padawan, obviously, that escaped the Purge. What were you going to say, Marcus?
Slayer, are you playing this game?
Not yet. I might end up getting it, but I'm definitely gonna be using it as gifts for like my brother and possibly friends.
Smart.
Same here. I'm not allowed to buy it.
Oh, I see. See, that's the Outer Worlds for me. I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to buy that game.
Exactly. So I'm with you.
But
Anyways, keep going.
basically, the levels. So it's quite a bit of platforming. So like jumping around and puzzles involving that, which is really cool. And as you get, what I really like is you go from planet to planet doing different things. But say in a given planet, you can't do everything on that planet, and just get to areas in the first time you are exposed to it, because certain areas are blocked off because you don't have certain force powers yet.
Oh,
Which is really cool. So it makes you if you
have to return.
you have to go back.
So like you can see the gold treasure box on the second level, but you don't have double jump yet. So
exactly, you can't get there.
and once
Yeah.
you get double jump, you got to remember that. Oh shit, there was that treasure box back on Utapa.
Right.
I'm going to get that thing.
Right, exactly. Which
Yeah.
I think is really cool. And there's like several layers of that. So there could be like, I don't know how many force abilities there are, but say there's like 10 or something. You might only have 3, but to get one area, you need the 5th one. And then to get another area, you need the 6th one.
I think
then
there's
another
only 4.
Yeah, well, I was making up numbers to be spoiler free, but yes. I think there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, well,
Main
force,
ones anyway.
force, push, pull.
Yeah. Double jump is literally one of them.
Yeah, double jump,
I forget. There's a couple
force
others.
choke. No, that I guess it would be pull or push.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of combat stuff that works into that. But yeah, push, pull, and then there's like a run on walls one too.
See that one? That's where I get turned off.
Yeah, but that's no big deal.
Like I played Titanfall and I hated being able to run on walls. I thought it was whack.
Yeah, but it
Wait,
makes
did
sense
I just say whack?
Yeah. What is this, 1992?
Yeah.
uh,
They did just come out with that new phone, the Motorola Razr reboot,
oh, and it's like
a flip touchscreen phone.
that is the dumbest thing ever.
They're gonna sell a ton of them.
They're gonna sell. I don't think so.
It's a cheaper version of the one Asus came out with.
Yeah, honestly like the Asus phone or Asus whatever, and the Razr phone intrigue me, except they're Android,
Right.
and I'm afraid to go Android. Like I used to be only Android.
Yeah, but it's just too convenient for an iPhone.
The keyboard sucks.
On which?
An Android.
Really?
Like the Android keyboard is not as good as the Apple.
Yeah.
And the messages are green. Like who the hell wants a green message?
I think it's not even that. It's the speed of an iMessage is way better, and like having the red receipt and things like that, or like delivered, is really
Yeah.
convenient.
Like then you know they got it.
Right, and it works over Wi-Fi. So like I couldn't text anybody right now being in your basement if I had an Android phone,
Yeah.
because I don't
They're
have.
I guess they're coming out with the iMessage for the Android. Slayer, are you an iPhone or an Android user?
Android. I haven't had the problems you guys talk about. I've always been able to text, no problem whatsoever.
Even when you have no service? and you're on Wi-Fi?
It's like, well, that's what I have Discord for, or that's what I have other apps for.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you could always use like Facebook Messenger or something too. Like that'll work over Wi-Fi or WhatsApp or any of the other messaging things.
The big one for me is really FaceTime because like I
Yes.
work so much.
Yeah.
Being able to FaceTime my kids, that's the big one. Yeah, you can use Google Duo, but it's like you have to like
It's not as
intuitive.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
I get that. It's just like slightly more convenient. If it's something you're using every day, I don't mind
Right.
it not being like the best piece of technology out there.
Anyway, so how did we get on the phone thing?
I have no idea. All right, so let me just polish up Jedi Fallen Order here. I really like that tiered exploration sort of, or layered, I guess, aspect of it. I think that's really cool and engaging. It makes you go back and get stuff. Plus, you unlock some cool things.
How many hours are you in it now?
Probably, I don't actually know. I'd have to go look at like,
Guess 15.
15 to 20.
Okay. My biggest thing is like the whole Inquisitor thing is really intriguing because maybe there's somewhere that explained where they came from.
Right.
But like I want to know, were they like Jedis that the Emperor kept
Right.
corrupted to the dark side and then just sent them out?
See, that I
to
don't know.
hunt?
So, like, I'm 20 hours in, but I've been going back and unlocking every single thing that I possibly can. So, like, I feel like I'm not actually that far in the story. You know what I'm saying?
Are there lore objects?
Yeah.
Like you click on this and it's like a data pad and he's like, before Order 66.
Yeah.
See, I would.
That's what I mean. They call them force echoes. You, like, touch an object and see the backstory of what happened with it. There's like a bunch of those. There's like 15 or 20 per planet.
I'm afraid if I play that, like, Sunday nights, like raid nights, will be canceled until I'm done with that game.
Yeah, because that's part of the things you do is like you unlock like pieces of the puzzle of what happened on that planet, or things that happened way in the past. It's real. That's why I like I like exploring anyway. And if I see like, oh, I can't get like the golden treasure box you were talking about, I'm like, as soon as I get fucking double jump, I'm coming back.
Well, so in Breath of the Wild, Slayer, you ever play Breath of the Wild?
No, I have not.
Okay. So in Breath of the Wild, I didn't realize in every shrine there's treasure boxes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that for like the first 10 that I did.
Oh, to look around
And
more?
I'm like, why don't I have more stuff?
Right.
And I'm like, and then I found, like, I was in there and I saw this treasure box way up there. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to get that thing?
Right.
And then
you like, read the walkthrough or whatever?
No, most of the time I'll give it like an hour for me to try to figure it out. And if I can't win in an hour, then I'll cheat.
Yeah.
Because
I give it like 20 minutes.
Not me. I'll try a shit ton of stuff. There was one. Why am I going into this?
Doesn't matter.
There was this one where you had to turn these blocks to like light the torches. These 3 torches needed to be lit.
Yeah.
But there was water shooting out of one of the sides of these cubes.
Oh, okay. So you have to block the water somehow?
Well, no, but you needed to be able to light the torch off the block. In this game's mechanics, everything breaks.
Right.
So like, it took me so long to do it. I used up all of my weapons.
Oh no!
Smashing this box to turn these things to light them on fire. When I should have just started over and like been like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Right.
But I didn't.
That's all right. That's how you learn.
So I walked out and I had
like
half a broken weapon left, and then this giant boogala thing attacked me and killed me.
That's funny.
Anyway.
So, long story short, I really enjoy Jedi Fallen Order. I think it's very, very solid.
Can we get a minute just to say the Rise of Skywalker hype is huge right now.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking excited.
I know. I sent you that poster. I forget. It's like the Dolby Digital,
yes,
like cinema exclusive poster or something like that.
And
It's like
I'm
only
sure
for certain cinemas.
only if we knew somebody in a theater that could get these sweet fucking posters for us.
If only we had strategically planned it for a month before release, so that was feasible.
My theater doesn't have that.
Right around when the merchandise for movies comes in. I'm just kidding.
Can't hate us for trying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worth trying.
You got to shoot your shot,
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Rise of Skywalker. I'm so excited. It's everywhere. Like, can you be let down by this movie?
Yeah, sure.
Did you watch episode 8?
Thank you, Slayer.
I did.
I was also fairly let down.
I was going to say,
When
the
I
amount
was
of hype going into episode 8? Come on.
Well, I'm just going to say it like this. When I left episode 8, Nick and I walked out of the theater.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, that was pretty good.
I thought that was better than episode... I was really down on episode 7, too.
Yes.
So, like, comparatively, I'm like, okay, at least... So, like, I was so sort of had a bad taste in my mouth about episode 7 because it was, like, cookie cutter A New Hope.
Well, it was all of them. It was
Yeah.
New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi all in one.
It was much more of a tribute to Star Wars than, hey, this is
Like
its
a
own.
Right. I thought so, too, Slayer.
Right. But episode 8, when I was at the theater, I walked out and I was like, okay, this is a lot to digest. I just saw Luke do a Force Ghost, like Force projection. And
I thought that was pretty cool.
it was dope. And I was like, okay, but the thing for me about episode 8, the Johnson film, was all of a sudden there's like 100 Resistance fighters.
Yeah.
And I went back and listened to the books, like The Journey to the Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Not Rise of Skywalker,
The Last
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And it didn't really explain too much how they were decimated so much. Like, yeah, it talked about how the First Order was growing in strength and all that stuff. But it wasn't like what it was at the beginning of the movie. And that's where I wasn't sure, because at the end of episode 7...
Like, they're doing fine.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we just killed Starkiller Base. We're on top of the world. And all of a sudden, episode 8, there's 100 of them.
Right.
You see, that brings me to the point of where I'm arguing with some of my people that I talked about. It doesn't feel like they had a full plan for the overarching trilogy. Like, they're saying, okay, this is where we're trying to get to as an end goal. You can do whatever you want in between, but here are the things that kind of affect other people, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so, too. And I think that's fairly evident in them, like, switching directors.
Not to mention, like, hey, they told Rian Johnson, you could do whatever you want. It seems like he didn't talk to JJ, he just went and filmed what he wanted to do.
Right. Obviously. I think so, too.
The sad part is George Lucas had 7, 8, and 9 written.
Oh, that is sad. And they didn't use any of it, right?
None of it.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Mark Hamill, like, from his Twitter, from his interviews, he talks about it, and he's like, they didn't talk to me about it, they didn't talk to me about the character, they didn't go with what George had talked about, they just went in whatever they wanted to do.
Right. And Mark Hamill, he's been super honest about, like, that he's not happy with the way this has come out.
Yeah, or at least
I don't
episode
blame
8,
him.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do him justice. The first movie, he was there standing there with a hood, and he gave his Magnum pose.
Right.
Magnum PI.
Like, he
yeah.
thought he was
No,
going to be more
Magnum.
involved.
Right. Zoolander.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Magnum.
No.
Blue Steel.
Blue Steel.
Oh, Blue Steel. That's it. What was Magnum? Oh, Magnum was the new one. Or was that his, like, arch enemies?
I don't remember, but it's in Zoolander 2. I know what you're talking about.
Magnum.
Yeah. Anyways. So, I agree about, episode 8. And the hype for episode 9... Hype is kind of dangerous for a movie or a game too, because people can hype things up, and then it comes below your expectations. I'm kind of trying to go into this like really cautiously optimistic,
Not me.
like just like, okay, it is what it is, like going with an open mind. Like, this might not be great. I'm hoping it's great, but if it's not, like, don't get all worked up about it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope they do it right, but I'm trying to mitigate my disappointment so that when we go and look at it later, I'm not, too, like, really pissed off about it or anything. It can be pretty objective.
You mean not the people who saw episode 1 for, like, hey, I grew up watching the original ones, and then they were ticked off with episode 1.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, rightfully so. That was, like, it's just really different thematically from the original trilogy.
yeah.
There's really good. There's some really good. I feel like episode 1's kind of similar in quality to episode 8. Like, there's some fantastic parts, but the overall, and like some really crappy parts that like take it down a notch.
fight with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul is the greatest fight in all of the movies.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm referring to.
And
Pod racing.
See, pod racing is like hit or miss. I'm not a big. I could do without pod racing, but I like it's also makes for like some really cool visuals and an interesting like plot line. You know.
I am so entwined in all of the movies right now because my kid wants to watch them all.
Right. Does she watch the prequels or no? Yeah.
She's seasoned. Listen, I could take her to a Star Wars trivia night and she would be pretty gangster at 3 years old. I'm a winner, okay, as a dad. Anyway, I am balls deep on hype, okay?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if it's a Rian Johnson toilet. It's the end. This is my entire life, right? Since I was a little kid,
Yeah.
I watched C-3PO and R2-D2 land on Tatooine and going, what kind of dumb fucking movie is this?
Right.
And I was like 4, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? And then all of a sudden, as the movie progressed, who the fuck is that black guy? And it was Darth Vader, right? Like when
Right.
he busts through the ship.
Right.
This is my entire life commencing to one thing. And I'm happy it's over. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this movie. I'm going to cry. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be pissed off because they didn't do something I wanted. And the Emperor's Jar Jar Binks, whatever it may be, okay? This is it. Like, the story, as I understand it, this is the end of the timeline.
Yeah.
There's nothing going to ever go past this point.
That's pretty much the perception I
Well,
got. Yeah.
let's clarify that. It's the end of the Skywalker timeline. They might do stuff past this, but they are not going to be talking about the Skywalkers.
Well, so the way I understood it is this is the end of the timeline. Everything that happens will be a prequel to this. This is where it ends. This is the way I understood it. There was the D23, I think it was like the red carpet interviews with Daisy, John Boyega, and Poe Dameron.
Yeah. I forgot.
And they were like, this is it. It's over. There's nothing else. This is the end of a timeline, or the timeline. Like, nothing goes past this point. And if that's the case, I'm happy with that because, like, I feel like you have to end it somehow, and it's going to end with the Force and balance. Is the Force and balance with, Rey just deciding, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going to use the Force, and I don't want to be a Jedi, and see you later.
Shoof.
Yep.
It's done.
It's over. See you later.
That could be cool.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it ends. But all I'm saying is I'm really hyped for this. I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, we're going to see it twice in one night.
That's true. We are. Although not at Slayer's Theater, at a different one.
The question is, are you going to have enough time to process the first one so when you're watching it the second time, you can really look for the details?
So,
I think so.
well,
I
no,
think we spaced it out pretty well.
Well, no. I didn't originally space it out well.
Oh, right.
So originally, when I got the text from you that tickets are on sale, I immediately signed in, bought a 7:00 showing.
Right. 7:10 or something. Yeah.
And then the second one was 10:50, and I'm like, fuck.
That's not enough time.
That's not enough time. So then I went back and bought the 6:00 show and then the 10:50 show. So we're going at 6:00 and then 10:50. So in between, there's going to be, a good hour and a half
Right.
that we'll be able to digest it. But the hardest part is we're probably going to have to do like Chipotle or something and sit in our car so we can talk about it because
You can't talk about that in public.
can you imagine us in Chipotle?
I can top this off. So, opening night, episode 7, we had someone come out of the very first show into the lobby and stream the spoiler to the whole lobby.
Wow, what an asshole.
Yeah, like what a dick.
Woman, and you see one of the guests in the lobby, they're like, lady, what a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I call her worse than that.
Yeah, in Hong Kong, some guy came out of this theater screaming spoilers. He got his ass beat. He got sent to the hospital because he got beat up so bad.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
how we used it we actually would threaten spoilers to get people to move into the correct seats because we'd removed to a reserved seating at the time. So here, we could threat, here, you need to do this. No, I don't. Alright, I'm going to spoil the movie for you. I'll move.
Yeah, I'm so hyped. I'm so ready for this.
I'm excited for it, big time.
Yeah, and I say it again. My entire life has been with the Skywalkers. But I'm going to get into more of that after.
So what have you been up to this
Oh, my
week?
God. So, first of all, it's been a very, very, very sad time for me.
Oh, my God.
The Corruptor Blades have been hung up, and I decided that I'm going to learn how to tank.
So do we have to get you a third Corruptor Blade for your tank?
No, I can always I think I can just pass one over because I'm never going to play my Marauder again, it seems like.
That's not true.
No, it's not true, but I'm still brokenhearted, okay?
Oh, my God.
I'm doing it for the team. And just for the record, Nick, I'm the world's worst tank. I can't figure it out. Like, I actually have to pay attention in the fights now. So, like, before, it would be like, okay, the tank jumps in, and I just get to hit things. Oh, there's a blue circle stand out of it. No, Marcus, don't do that. Okay. Like,
And if you die, you just get healed. It's fine.
yeah, it's no problem. Now it's like, Marcus, you have to take the boss over to this corner. What corner is that? The same one you've been going to for 4 years. Well, I don't know what corner that is. I went into this flashpoint that I've done 1,000,000 times, but never as a tank.
Yeah.
And there's these canisters that you have to explode in order to be able to, like, damage the boss or whatever,
Mhm.
or do more damage to the boss. And they're like, Marcus, bring the boss to the canister. I went to the complete opposite side of the room where that canister wasn't lit up.
Oh,
I'm
no.
at the canister. They're like, there's 3 other canisters, and that one's not lit up. I'm like, oh. So we died. And
oh,
then,
no.
Yeah, and then we
Was
tried
this
to
hard mode or story?
I don't fucking know. Probably easy mode. Doc and Ted were making fun of me so bad because they're like, Marcus, you're awful at tanking. And I'm like, I have to pay attention now.
I never paid attention, but that's like me when I first started driving. I had no idea how to get anywhere
Yeah.
because I was always in the passenger seat, never paying attention to where we were actually going.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, what do I care what the mechanics are?
Right.
The boss hits really hard here. Well, I'm standing behind the boss. He's not hitting me hard. So credit to Slayer because he's trying to teach an idiot. He's trying to teach a Marauder how to tank. Not going well.
It's an uphill battle.
I've pugged with worse tanks easily.
Ouch. So, hence the truth.
Right. So, did you want to talk about some stuff from D3?
So,
Or did you already kind
well,
of
yeah, I was coughing. Anyways, I've been playing a shit.
That was called a filler.
So,
It's covering your cough.
oh.
Pulling
Alright.
the curtain back here.
So, I've been playing a lot. I've been working a shit ton, so I haven't come down to my computer a lot to play, or my laptop. So, I've been playing on my Switch a lot.
Yeah.
Diablo 3 is fucking fun. Like, I have so much fun playing that game. I'm having a shit ton of fun.
That's a top-down sort of game, right?
It's, I don't know, Musco's favorite game.
Yeah. I never played it.
I don't know what kind of game it is.
It's definitely top down.
Yeah, it's top down. It's top down, but I don't know. You just, hack and slash,
Hack and slash, yeah.
but it's really fun on the Switch. And I have a nice, I have like a perfect belly. So I have the case and I stand the Switch up like in the crest of the belly when I'm laying down. It like sits in the groove perfectly.
Yeah.
And then I have my controller down by my belly button, the Pro controller for the Switch.
Yep.
And I just jam for hours.
Oh, that's
it-
perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome until I cough and then the
Switch gets launched.
yeah, exactly. Also, too, I've never played a Pokemon game in my life.
I can't believe that.
Nope, never. And
I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to play the new ones unless you played the originals first.
He was the raw. I'm just old enough where I just got the Pokemon games, and Marcus is probably just a little too old to have caught them at the beginning.
no, I remember them.
Well,
I had the Game Boys. I could have got them, but I
Well,
just
I meant
was
more like all your friends playing the same game.
Oh yeah, we were playing other games.
Yeah. See, all my friends were playing Pokemon. We were trading them, and we had the cards and stuff. I was right in the thick of things.
Yeah, see, not me. Okay, so now I understand. So, I swear, Instagram and Google, they're listening.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So, I watched 2 trailers for the Pokemon games, Sword and Shield, like the trailers for them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, every day,
Every ad is Pokemon.
5
Sword.
days, 4 days, 3 days, and I'm like, fuck. I really want to get this game, and it's open world, and you can catch a Pokemon, and blah, blah, blah.
Catch them all.
Catch them all, and then trade them with your friends. And then I was talking to Doc, and he was like, I was like, what's the difference between sword and shield? Like, is the sword one like attack Pokemon, and the shield game is all defensive
I don't think
Pokemon?
so.
And he's like, well, the legendary Pokemon you can get, in the shield one they're defensive, and the sword one
They're
they're
attacking.
offensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
anyway,
also, I think there's a gym difference too. I think sword.
yeah,
One of the gyms is psychic, and one of the gyms is fighting style, and I forget which one's belongs to which. And I think there's usually a few Pokemon that are exclusive to each game, but
Well,
the
yes.
most of them are the same.
yeah. In the story, if sword tells you to turn right, shield tells you to turn left. You know what I mean? In like certain spots, it's pretty much the same game.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, they're like, oh, you can skip the tutorial now. Well, I had no idea how to catch a Pokemon.
Oh, so
Never
you
did it
Did you
before.
skip the tutorial?
No, I did the tutorial.
Oh,
and
good.
No, it's awful.
Why?
Next
Why?
time, just skip it and watch a YouTube video because the tutorial's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, they walk you through the whole thing.
Yeah, but like,
it's
who
for
can
little
remember?
kids?
No. Who can remember all of that?
Oh, okay.
It should be like gradual catch the Pokemon. Like, okay, you're going to learn how to throw the ball. Okay, catch a Pokemon. Then, oh, you're going to fight this Pokemon, but then you're going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like steps, and it was just too much. Anyway,
Maybe they made it more complicated, but that's pretty much all it used to be in some of the older games.
right,
You get the Pokemon at low health, throw the ball. If it catches it, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
right. So, thank you, Disney. You now are going to control my content for the rest of my life. Disney Plus is now
The pri-
amazing.
the prime thing you're using
Yeah,
at your house.
I'm completely addicted to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they put the 1993 X-Men cartoon on it.
Are you kidding? I
No.
gotta go watch that.
Dude, Night of the Sentinels and like Jubilee's about to get fucked up, and then Gambit comes in, hey, mon ami, I'm going to save you.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's like Cajun, right?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, he's from
So, like,
Louisiana.
And there's like so many shows like Darkwing Duck. When was
Darkwing Duck.
Slayer,
Let's get dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many shows on there.
Wow.
And I'm just going to throw this one out there. It was really nice to see Topanga again from Boy Meets World, okay? Really good to see her. Slayer? Do you
I
have Disney
remember her.
Plus?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, see?
Hey, Slayer's familiar with Topanga.
Anyway, so the last two things is I've been watching all the book releases because every time a new Star Wars something comes out, I read it or listen to it. I don't read it on Audible, and the journey to the movies is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed like Journey to the Force Awakens. I can't remember which books it was for the Journey to the Last Jedi. I think one was a Princess Leia, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, Resistance Reborn was really good, and now I understand going into the Rise of Skywalker how the Resistance is getting built back up. Thank you, Poe.
Right.
And I feel like it filled that void.
That you didn't have for episode 8.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, no. In between 8 and 9.
Yeah, but this filled the void of extra information that you were looking for when you're trying to go back and read stuff about the pre-episode 8 stuff.
Correct. Yep. So then, because in the prequel to The Force Awakens, those books were great. Lost Stars is probably one of the best Star Wars books I ever listened to because it's old now. Spoiler. It ends with them taking the children of the First Order and going into wild space to where Snoke is. And, that's how the First Order gets started, and that's how the book ends. Boom.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
So, what I'm saying is, Resistance Reborn, basically, the title says it. I'm not spoiling it because it just came out like a week and a half ago. It basically is showing us that how the Resistance gets starting to build back up.
Yeah, because at the end
Coming
of episode
into
8,
this movie.
they're basically just the people on the Millennium Falcon.
Right. Second thing is Force Collector came out this Tuesday. It's really cool. Like, the book started off slow, but now it's really kicking into gear. It's only 8 hours, So it's really not that long of a story, but it's really good. And a mild spoiler, there's a force power that I never knew existed.
That's really cool.
And it's fucking sweet.
What's it called? Force Collector?
Mm-hmm. And
Let's
it's
listen to it.
I would listen to Resistance Reborn
Okay.
before Force Collector, just because so then if it takes you a little while to listen to it, then you'll be ready for episode 9. Anyway.
Right.
But in the Force Collector book, there was a part that I have never in any book stopped working because it's in my ear. Don't forget I'm listening to it. I got off the ladder, put my hand on top of the ladder, and just put my head down and like absorbed what the content was. And it was like the best 5 minutes of any book I've ever heard in my life.
Wow.
Like, I got goosebumps. I got a tear. I got excited. I got really sad.
Yeah.
And then I got mad. Like, all of my emotions came out in this section of this book. And I was like, and then it came back and I like blinked. You know when you like blink your eyes to like get focus again? I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was fucking nuts.
Yeah. It took you back to, you snap back to reality.
Right.
Kinda.
So, like, I was past it by a chapter by the time I got in my truck to drive home. I backed up just to listen to that part again.
Wow.
Anyways.
That's crazy.
In SOTOR news.
All right. Let's go. So, starting off for SOTOR news, we got to take a moment of silence for the Tulak Horde server.
I feel really bad for them. For the last 2 weeks, they've had an awful time.
Really?
They can't even like log into their server. They're constantly getting kicked off.
Oh, that's terrible.
It reminds me of the old Harbinger days.
I feel like Harbinger. I feel like they're like the evil stepsister to the Satil Shan server. And as we all know, Starforge is the best server. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, they've had to take it down. They've had to rebuild the server. It's been brutal. And then still today, they're still having problems with the server.
Yikes.
What language is the Tulak Horde server? Do you know, Slayer?
I want to say it's English.
Okay, so there's two. There's Darth Malgus is a European server, and then there's Tulak Horde, and then there's
something else.
Well, there's a French-speaking and a German-speaking server.
Okay.
I thought there was only one English-speaking server.
In
I'm not
Europe.
really sure.
So the Leviathan is the other European server.
Okay. Either way, Tulak Horde, I'm really sorry.
They should see if they can transfer their tunes to a different server.
Well, yeah, but if it's your server, you don't want to. That shit gets expensive.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I mean BioWare should do it for them.
Well, they're going to fix it.
Yeah.
They just got to figure out
I was
what
gonna
the hell's
say,
going on.
That requires server merges, not just that, because guild ships, legacies, character names.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's a big task.
Nobody takes my names. -USB. Anyways, the last piece of Star Wars content, and we've kind of talked for a while, so all I'm going to say is, so Papa Keith Koenig, he gave us a nice letter, and it's pretty long, but we did get confirmation that there's a patch coming in December, which will be the last of 2019. Nick, do you want to read this, or
Yeah, I can read it. It is pretty lengthy, though. Do you want me to just tell people where you can find it?
Why don't you read the last paragraph?
Sure. So, we have Game Update 6.1 planned for early 2020, making its PTS debut in December. When we're ready to have you take a look, I'll share more details about the update and give you a glimpse into our future plans for SOTOR. Don't forget, Star Wars Celebration is planned for August and in Anaheim, California this year. We're already making our plans to be there. Would be great to meet a bunch of you at the event. Thank you everyone for making Onslaught a success. Keep your thoughts, concerns, and ideas coming, as those are an invaluable source of feedback for the team. Happy holidays, Keith Koenig.
So, I'm excited that
there's a new PTS coming out in December.
I'm done with the PTS.
So much grinding that doesn't count.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. You'd think like new operation, it's going to be easy to put teams together to do it, and it's not easy at all.
A lot of people don't want to play.
Well, you can fill the team, but like, what if like me, I have to cancel because, kids are sick or whatever.
Yeah.
And like trying to fill that spot, it's not like the main server where you can just find somebody. You gotta
see who has the PTS downloaded and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. But that is exciting though. They're keeping it rolling.
But Slayer, can I ask you a question about Onslaught?
Go ahead.
What do you think of Onslaught up to today?
I'd have to say it's not bad. I'm happy that they're getting more people back into Flashpoints, because I remember that from the beginning of the game where it was such an integral part of it, and that's a good thing to have. I think with Operations, they're not there yet.
What do you mean by that?
Like, let's say you scale it down for all the old blends to level 70. Bolster doesn't work properly in there for like, hey, if you're level 73, your stats are terrible in there, even though you might have more gear, more than that. So you're still getting nerfed below what you were at level 70 when you're doing the operations.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you're making it harder for new people to learn the operations, but at the same time, the heal check and the DPS checks aren't close to where they should be, because you're having outrageous numbers put up for DPS, but heals might need more.
I didn't think of it like that. Because for me, all I ever thought about was just Corruptor Blades.
Yeah, what's your DPS output, right?
And it was always terrible. If you ask Bo, he would just tell me I was the worst DPS ever. But now DPS doesn't matter.
Really?
No. All I do is these buttons that I don't know what they do.
He's just trying to keep the boss facing him.
Yeah. So, Nick, I'm going to go back to tanking really quick. I've never, having to control a group of people, a group of ads, is a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I got this, and I go hit one of them, and then I do my AoE taunt, and I just am doing all my moves, and then all of a sudden they start scattering.
And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, no, come back, because Doc is doing everything in his power to pull them off me, or Bo, or whoever, Ted. And I'm like, how the hell do I do this? I can't AoE taunt again.
Right.
But one of the moves is pretty sweet. It's a backhand. Want to know what it's like?
No.
Okay, I tried. Anyways, so yeah, it's an adventure.
So in AIE news, this Friday is Mega, our monthly Epic Guild activity. It says October 22nd, but I'm assuming Marcus meant November 22nd.
Yep.
That's our rain day date. What does that mean?
I was way too busy last week. I was still okay.
Oh, I see. It was
supposed to be last Friday, but I was still in my shop at 8:00 at night, and I was like, I was still, when you're like, okay, am I going to be home for 9, or can I pull out my laptop and play? And I looked at the cabinets, and I looked at my computer or my backpack, and I looked at the cabinets. I'm like,
there's no way.
There's not a fucking chance.
Yeah.
So, so I canceled it last week, and I'm doing a rain day date this Friday, which is tomorrow.
That is November 22nd. If you're interested in coming along,
or tonight today, because if they're listening to this when it goes live,
right, it'll basically be tomorrow morning. Yeah, it'll be today. Yeah, because we usually put it out by 11:30.
Right.
So unless you're listening within the half hour of us putting it out, it's already Friday.
And what are we going to be doing tomorrow?
So we'll be doing a gear grind for everyone who wants to come. Maybe some flashpoints, maybe some PvP, because I know that you love PvP so much, especially ranked, and maybe even an operation, depending on what the group wants.
Well, I'm going to try to tank in PvP. I don't really know. It's not like I can taunt somebody in PvP.
Yeah, actually, you're supposed to.
It might power up some of your tanking moves.
But
it makes the opponent do less damage if they're not attacking you.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm just going to hit AoE taunt all the time.
Perfect. And if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, get in the Discord, get the info on how to say hi and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not you play SWTOR or any other games, we'd love to have you.
And look for some kind of notice. I'm going to be doing another invasion into another of the AIE games. I'm thinking either Final Fantasy 14 or Guild Wars 2.
That
I
sounds
wanna
great.
try it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Nick, I know you have to pee.
My leg has been jiggling this whole time.
And there's going to be no more beer cracking
I know.
for the break.
It's only Nadia Grail.
Yeah. That's for you, B. Kavanaugh.
We'll be right back.
Geez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. Today we're discussing the first 2 episodes of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. Well, and some spoilers. Well, not spoilers.
Not too well. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go
No,
spoilers. I
full-
meant
full spoilers.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hats.
Yes.
See, this
Crack
is why I
potitude.
can't. See, I can't just change things up.
No,
I can't just take it over because then I just ruin it.
I mean, it's fine. It's par for the course for the podcast. How it usually is.
Okay, as per usual in any review, Slayer, or good, bad, or are you indifferent?
Wait, no, you can't just hold on. It's a Western theme, and you leave good, the bad, or ugly on the table. Are you kidding?
All right, good, bad, or ugly.
Good.
See, this is why I can't. This is why I can't run this shit. I'm just here to look pretty.
You have a great face for podcasting.
Exactly.
So you enjoyed it.
Definitely.
A 1 to 10, what would you rate the first 2 episodes as far as the TV show?
Probably an 8 to a 9.
I agree with that. That's pretty much right where I am. Marcus, what are you saying?
Fucking 10. Let's do this. Holy shit. We've been playing the Jedi Knight story for 42 goddamn years.
Yeah.
We're finally getting a new class story, and it's the bounty hunters. This is a motherfucking 10. Let's go.
I agree. Well,
Let's go.
my hype for it is out of 10. I really enjoyed it. This is the most I've enjoyed a TV show in a very long time.
And it's releasing every episode once a week. It's legit as shit. It gives you time to talk about it with your friends, and people that have more time than me can binge it all in 1 minute or 1 day, like Netflix releases,
Right.
versus like now it's forced that like at midnight tonight it's going to release or 1 a.m. And like if people watch it, they actually give people the day to watch it before they actually start spoiling it.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Weekly release.
So
Hype train.
do you want to just dive right in here?
Go, Nick.
So first of all, I just want to say, yeah, it's great to see a non-Jedi focused class story. Not class story.
Yes!
Story
See that, Slayer? He's a SWTOR player, and he's
at heart.
Yeah, at heart.
Right off the bat, I thought everything looks incredible. So
Well, it's John
some of
Favreau.
yeah, that's true. John Favreau did a great job. I think I really, really prefer practical effects, especially for some of the other alien creatures and stuff like that. I think that looks dramatically better. And I feel like most of the special effects are practical too, which makes it look way better. I think the only big thing that was not practical are like some of the really big monsters that like you can't really do a puppet of. Like full spoilers here. So basically turn back if you don't want to get the first 2 episodes
No,
spoiled.
just shut the podcast off.
If you don't want
If
to
you haven't watched this,
shut it off.
you should just not.
Don't go here.
No.
We're full spoilers.
Yeah, like where have you been?
Right.
Like,
So
like you get 7 days free. Like
That's
download
true.
it and watch the first 2 episodes, and then cancel your subscription.
right. Well,
Or you wait till it's all out and then watch everything and then cancel.
Exactly.
that you can do that too. So I think the only things that are CG that I saw were the ice monster that pops up in the very beginning, and the rhino-y thing that he fights in episode 2. But both of those looked really good. So I don't know if they're grounded in like a practical like something that they were like clumping around, and then they put like some green screen stuff on it, or what. But I thought both of those, even though they were CG, looked really good. But all of the like, obviously Baby Yoda looks incredible and is adorable. That's a puppet. You know what I mean? I forgot the guy who says
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. Oh, that's who voices that guy?
I have spoken.
That character looks great. I thought all the people at the bar that were different, like alien species, looks really good. Like the fish guy who got the bounty. I thought all of it looks great. Like just the visuals are really nice looking. The Mandalorian armorer chick who's got like that crazy mask. Slayer, what did you think? I know you're a bit of a movie aficionado. What do you think of some of the cinematography?
So the cinematography is great, which I expect from a director like Jon Favreau who understands practical and CGI. And I think that's part of the problem that people have with the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, like movies. It's Star Wars, so you expect it to be cutting edge, but the technology wasn't there yet. And George Lucas is like, well, what do? I gotta go CGI, and he chose that over practical effects.
Say that again. I think you unclicked your push to talk for a second.
So, like, Jon Favreau is so much better at being able to use technology and practical effects, whereas George Lucas, when he did episodes 1, 2, 3, he had to lean into CGI because you expected Star Wars to be ahead of everyone else, and so far ahead, but the technology wasn't there yet.
Right.
I can remember it was Attack of the Clones, and Padme was running, but like the CGI
around her
was doing something, and you could tell she was just running in place.
Yeah, it was just terrible.
And then compare it to Lord of the Rings a few years later, where it's like, this looks so much better already.
Right.
Yeah, I thought Lord of the Rings, even if you go back and watch it, it still looks good. Even though some of their CGI.
I mean, some of the scenes, they're not as good anymore, but it doesn't ruin the movie.
Right. I agree.
The best part, too, is, you feel like you're in a Star Wars universe, but you don't feel like you're bogged down in the Death Star.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you don't feel like I'm not worried about the First Order at all in this.
Yeah. Well, they're not. Oh no, yes they are. They're upcoming.
Well,
they
you
will
feel like you're in a different part of the galaxy, but still in the same galaxy.
yes,
yeah, which is really refreshing.
Right, because the Jawas, the aliens, all that stuff, and it's
the little like doorbell thing from Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
That was a cool game.
Ujaguduka.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is so great.
Yeah.
And please tell me the lady that was forging his shoulder pad is Mandalore the Ultimate or something like that.
I feel like that mask is pretty much like the mask that is referred to for that, right?
Like, it's going to be so great. And they have such an opportunity to bring stuff to canon in subtle ways in the show.
Yeah.
Like, they could take 10 seconds and make something real.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's what that was signifying. I mean, I forget where I saw it, but I saw a picture. It's probably of episode 3. Like they released a photo or something, and there's a few other Mandalorians in the shot. Somebody with green armor was there, and the people are saying that's Boba Fett.
Yeah,
but
that wouldn't add up though, because isn't this after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, and he fell into the Sarlacc pit. Marcus has this grand conspiracy theory that he didn't die when he did that.
Well, if you read the Legends books, he did not. He
Right.
flew out of it. He's got the jetpack. Boom. Flew out of the Sarlacc.
Well, that may be true.
That was a terrible jetpack noise.
If anything, for Boba Fett, I'm hoping that they go in there and say, he is a Mandalorian. We don't care what the government said. He's an actual Mandalorian.
Right.
I think... Yeah, I think what I was kind of getting at was in the photo, there's other Mandalorians and no one else has that design, or no one else has like gold helmets like the armor lady was. So I think she's clearly like the leader of their clan.
Well, or she's just the blacksmith.
Yeah,
She made her own badass helmet.
that's true. That could be it also. But I'm hoping she's like Mandalore the Ultimate or whatever. That would be cool.
Does it bother you that, there's no it's going to sound weird, Star Wars-y music? It's like really like Western-y music.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that it's not like?
For me,
Yes.
no, I almost prefer it.
Okay. Slayer.
It adds more flavor because you don't want just the same music for everything. You want, like, this is a galaxy. Why wouldn't there be different types of music for different people and all that?
Right. I agree. And so like, were you gonna say something else?
No.
So for me, I took a film class. I don't know, last spring, something like that, and it was all about different film genres and picking them apart. Blah blah blah. It was like it was a fairly upper level film class, and one of the genres we went through was the Western. Well, so we like picked it apart, like looked at all these different, watched like 4 different movies of different Western examples, and it's really cool to see like this movie is very clearly set on like the Western template, and it does an awesome job. And it's just, I think it's having that little bit of background is really cool to see like a Star Wars version of a Western. I never thought that would ever be a thing, and I didn't realize that until about halfway through the first episode, and I'm like, is this supposed to be a Western? And then I started like picking up the cues, like the big landscape shots, like the lone protagonist that doesn't talk too much, like it's done really, really, really well. I really enjoy it. It reminds me, it's almost similar thematically to some of like the spaghetti westerns, kind of like the.
What is a spaghetti western?
So I'll take it down the rabbit hole here. So I should know this. Maybe Slayer. Do you know the director of the Fistful of Dollars? His name, the Italian gentleman. And
No, I don't. Unfortunately,
I forget. But anyways, there's this Italian director shot these Western movies in Italy, but they're obviously supposed to be set in the Midwest. And I should know his last name, but like A Fistful of Dollars. I
don't know what that is.
I forgot the second movie's name, but that movie with Clint Eastwood. The third one is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's actually the third movie in a trilogy, which most people don't realize either. The first one is called A Fistful of Dollars. But
all right,
long story short, it's like set up similarly to those films, and I really enjoy it. And this is obviously way better because it's modern and in the Star Wars universe. But I also think that this Mandalorian character is a substantially like more dynamic.
Sergio Leone.
Yes, thank you, Sergio Leone. I forgot how you say his last name. He's way more dynamic than a lot of Western protagonists too. Like he's like a Lone Ranger, but he accepts help from people, and he doesn't talk a lot, but he does actually speak. Unlike the Man with No Name from those movies that I was referring to. So I think it's really cool and well done.
I'm curious. So the show's just getting going, right?
Yeah.
And you see, so like there's the bounty pucks.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I didn't either until he slammed it on the table.
Right.
The guy's like, "Oh, is that me?"
Right.
Oh,
is that a bounty puck?
Yeah.
I think that's cool that they like. I love that indirect like explanation of things. I don't know if that's exposition or not, but like slamming it on the table. Oh, is that a bounty puck? Like that's pretty on the nose, but like indirect ways of explaining how things work. You know what I mean? Or like in the conversation with like if you didn't know when this was set, in the conversation with the bounty broker. I don't remember his actual name.
the guy played by Carl Withers.
Yes. Exactly. He's like tries to give him the Imperial credits, and they say, "Oh, those don't spend anymore." So it's after the Empire's fallen. You know.
So
it's like indirect sort of like setting this developing the setting and things like that.
So I have a meme.
I thought that was cool.
So it's hilarious because it's of the guy, the Mandalorian says, "I hear you have more jobs for me. Do you have any of the bounty pucks?" He goes, "These 3 I want brought in cold. It's very personal."
And
it's Dolph Lundgren from Rocky killed Apollo. The Predator killed him in Predator. And then the alligator in Happy Gilmore.
that bites his hand.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm sorry.
That's an awesome meme.
It just, yeah. I want more.
I do too.
Okay.
I really like how it's episodic.
I still gave it a 10 But come on, 35 minutes. It's such a crock of shit. That's like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, if at the end of, like, if episode 3 feels like it's episode 2, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, I see. Like they should have made episode 1 longer.
Yeah, it's like what they do in these games where they, like, release. So, like, oh, this game, you know, the story's 30 hours, but the DLC we have is another 100 hours. So, really, it's a 100-hour game
That they chopped up.
that they chopped up just to make more money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want more. The episodes weren't long enough, or are we spoiled in all of our shows?
Being an
Because
hour long.
all of the shows that we watch are an hour long.
Right.
Or is that because we're used to getting them all at once, too?
No, I would
No,
say
'cause-
for me, episode 2, like, he fixes his ship and takes off. I'm like, okay, now we're getting into the show. Like, okay, problem 1 solved. Let's go.
Yeah.
And
like
then
you did the
it's
first
over,
time.
and I was like, it's over already?
Right. Like that was the whole
I feel-
episode was
yeah.
him fixing his ship and taking essentially.
Well, I get it. Like, they had a bonding moment.
Between-
Somebody used the Force, and
Yeah, Baby Yoda used the Force.
yeah.
Remember, we're in spoiler town, so we're
Yeah, yeah.
clear. So, I don't know. I guess, Slayer, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we adventure into Conspiracy Town?
Well, there's so much more to talk about.
I was gonna say, you gotta love what they did in episode 1 with the IG droid to start with.
Oh, yes. I'm leaving a lot on the table.
We're not going to spoiler town. There's so much to talk about.
Conspiracy Town?
So, for the record, like, R2-D2, you're my homie, but I want an IG droid.
I do too.
Like,
He
You
was
want
awesome.
both.
hey, BioWare, can you make an IG droid for your companion, please? Because
I'd rather have HK than an IG droid.
not me. I mean, it was because nobody has ever seen like an IG droid in action. I mean,
Right.
that IG droid had 0 fucks given.
No.
He walked right into that town and he was like, "There's a bounty. I want it." Like,
Give it to me or I'm killing you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he killed everything in sight. If you watch it again, the IG droid annihilates.
Yeah. He's awesome. I enjoyed IG.
It was about time they put a droid that's actually lethal into Star Wars instead of the early ones who are like, these aren't that threatening, I could just push them over.
Yeah.
And some of the battle droids are like even pretty like comically dumb, you know. Like
Again-
in the prequels.
Right, but again, I feel like it was more of a technology thing. So in 1977, they were all they could do to get R2-D2 to roll down the road.
Right. They
Yeah,
were like
but-
pulling them on a string. Yeah.
The droid also fits a purpose of, why would you need to do more when he's just there to fix a spaceship?
Right.
That's true. Yeah. R2 doesn't need to do a whole lot.
Except be bad fucking ass.
Yeah. I mean, he becomes badass, yeah.
No, he is badass. He is he is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, he is. He's the only character that has been in all the fights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Episode 1, episode 9. Well, we don't know 9.
Well,
I'm
he'll be
assuming
in the
he's a-
episode, but
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get involved in the combat.
Oh, he'll be doing something.
Yeah.
Flying.
if he's not, you'll be pissed.
True.
Nope. I'm still going to love it.
Yeah, I'll be. Well, you want R2 to be involved.
Well, of course I do. I mean, okay, in episode 1, they started off in a bar, like a cantina,
That was pretty awesome.
right? And you immediately saw all the characters that you've been familiar with for these 42 years. You know, like aliens and humans and everything else.
Yeah.
And he walks into this cantina, and you're like, all right, he's going to get a bounty. He's bounty hunting somebody. And then this dude is like, hey, Mandalorian, you
Mando.
spilled my drink. Just because he opened the door. Like, come on.
And if you, so you and I watched it twice, right? The first time through, if you're not paying attention to the mug, you think the wind from the door blows it over. So when the guy's bullying the blue fish guy, he knocks it over himself, and then the door opens, but he doesn't notice because he's bullying the guy who becomes the bounty.
Right.
And then later, when the door opens, he looks down and realizes that his drink spilled and blames it on the Mandalorian. So from the start, that guy's a drunk asshole, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and then immediately the Mandalorian just goes bananas.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought it was nice how he like played it cool. He's like, "Look, I'm just gonna go get a drink. I'm playing the low key," and then the guy antagonizes him, and he's like, well, "All right, I guess we're doing this." And then fucks up everybody.
And then cuts the dude in half going through the door.
That was pretty sweet.
It's refreshing. It's really refreshing. I guess that's the word.
Yeah.
To see something new.
And someone who's not like overtly force sensitive, like running the show. I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's also, you get to see someone out there, like, these are the people you need to hire to find people in a galaxy wide, because you don't have the galactic scale otherwise.
Right?
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that.
That's true too.
Because there's no big army, there's no big police force that spans the galaxy, there's planetary.
Yeah, and I guess that brings us back to that Wild Wild West theme. The galaxy is Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Because there is nobody policing.
Like, you don't have a galaxy-wide police force. You have a galaxy military, but
Yeah.
not like...
You might have a planet
police force.
Yeah, but like, what are they going to do to the Mandalorian?
Nothing.
That guy lands his ship a mile out of where he's collecting his bounty, gets on his ship, and leaves.
Right.
By the time the police hear about it, he's gone.
He's like a solar system away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Or 5. Or 13 parsecs away.
Now, the Beskar steel now, right? So they said something about the Great Purge. So when the Empire took over...
Oh, I want to talk about this, yeah. Go ahead.
So in the Legends books, Beskar steel was the Mandalorians' metal from their home world.
Correct.
And when the Empire took over, they took it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's sort of made its way into canon with this.
Right. So that's my question is, so now I don't even know what Beskar steel is.
I'm treating it as essentially like a vibranium type of
So Beskar steel is lightsaber and blaster resistant, and it's like really valuable because it's rare.
Huh. Because in the books, they made weapons to combat that metal.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, that's kind of what I took it as. It's like it's super durable, essentially, more or less indestructible, or like at least the strongest metal, most blaster resistant armor and things like that. That's kind of what I read online.
And the Mandalorian gets shot in that shoulder.
In the bar.
And then as soon as he gets the thing, he's like, "Yeah, you need to give me that shoulder thing. I'm never getting shot there again."
Right. That was pretty cool. That was a nice little detail. Yeah, I think that's interesting. So in Jedi Fallen Order, they refer to the Purge as the Order 66 stuff. But then in The Mandalorian, I don't think that's the same Purge. I think they're talking about when the Empire took over Mandalore and started mining all the Beskar steel for themselves and basically scattered all the Mandalorians everywhere.
That's the way I take it.
Me too. I think it's two different purges, but I just wanted to clarify that because I know they're both coming out at the same time. And they could get sort of flip-flopped. I think it's two different events. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just trying to think, like, and then you have that guy who's wearing an Imperial necklace.
Where?
The guy who gave the Mandalore the job for little Yoda.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And then...
All right, do you want to venture into Conspiracy Town now?
No, I want to talk about this guy.
Okay. Because I have more to talk about in that scene. But go ahead.
So, you walk into that room, and you see the stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm. That's a really cool shot, I think, when you...
Dirty stormtrooper.
They're just beat up.
Yeah.
And that one shot shows, like, the state of the Empire, which clearly, like, has crumbled.
Right, and he's got an Empire necklace on. You guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, then the doctor comes out, or whatever he is.
Yeah.
So
he's clearly, with the white outfit.
Is he an Imperial scientist?
He's a scientist of some kind.
scientist, doctor, whatever it may be.
I'm just gonna say this. This is going to conspiracy town. So he had a patch on his right shoulder, and people online, did their deep digging, and the logo of the patch is from Kamino, the cloning planet.
So did they clone Yoda?
That's what they're thinking, is that either they cloned Yoda somehow, or they knew of this offspring that's clearly the same race as Yoda, and they want to clone them to make troops, to make soldiers that are force sensitive.
So
That's the conspiracy theory.
that scientist would have had to have gone to Kamino to learn how to do what they do, because he's obviously not Kaminoan.
Right, exactly. Or he must have worked there or something, because he's clearly not the same species. But that's pretty interesting to think about. That could be the motivation behind why they wanted the bounty, and that would also make sense why he was sort of freaking out,
Alive.
Hey, we really need this thing alive, not dead.
They want Darth Yoda.
I think that's more or less what they're going for. Or they want Stormtrooper Yoda or whatever.
Or make a Yoda clone army.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. 4-foot-tall assassins.
Craziness.
That's pretty interesting, right?
I just don't. I think the hardest part for me is people. They're like, it's not Yoda. Okay, it's not Yoda, but we don't even know what Yoda's species is.
Well, do you know why we don't know what Yoda species is?
Tell me.
So George Lucas purposely didn't want to bring up Yoda species because he thought it added to the mystery of Yoda himself.
That's cool.
But do you think they're going to tell us the species now?
That's a good chance, considering George Lucas isn't involved anymore, and there has to be more than just Yoda.
I think in the prequel, this is all from online, I didn't notice this myself, but I think in the prequels or somewhere, there's a female person of Yoda's species on the Jedi Council.
Yep, in episode 1, and then she is gone by episode 2.
Right. So it's like Yaddle or something like that. So the part of that conspiracy theory is Yoda and Yaddle had a kid, a secret baby, and that's the baby Yoda we're seeing.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting, but that's pretty far-fetched. Yeah. I don't buy that part. I think it's just this little baby Yoda is just the same species, not like a offspring of Yoda.
And it could be hey, his species is really high force potential, just like the Sith in Legends.
That would be cool, like the Sith species.
Yep.
I like the mystery, but I'd like to know what the race is, or give the thing a name.
You don't like Baby Yoda?
I don't.
And people online were calling it Yiddle, like Yittle, like Little Yoda. And since Yaddle was the female one or whatever. Also, there's in Jedi Fallen Order, there's a reference to Yaddle in the game, which is kind of interesting. One of the characters talks about a green-skinned, pointy-eared Jedi master, and someone was like, "Oh, you mean Grandmaster Yoda? Yeah, he's one of the most legendary Jedis of all time." He goes, "No, the other one." And it's "Oh, Grandmaster Yaddle." And I was so I Googled it, and then that's what made me come across it. So, I think that whole Yoda Yaddle thing is kind of weird, but that little piece of dialogue being in Jedi Fallen Order can't be coincidental.
No.
Clearly that was, that's pulled out from somewhere on purpose. Now, I don't know if it's related.
They're starting to actually tie everything together better instead of, here, you're doing this, you're doing that.
Right. That seems like I don't think it's a coincidence that line of dialogue is in Fallen Order, and then also, and it's not in a side spot, it's an obvious part of the game where you have to listen to that. So I feel as though that gives a little bit more validity to the, maybe not that it's an offspring of those two, but at least it's, hey, clearly these are related things.
Right. All I'm saying is portable carbon freezing.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
If I had one of those, I would totally be putting you in carbonite all the time. It would become a game. Nick, come here. Can you help me with something? Frozen. Saw you. Hey,
Like,
Nick.
son of a bitch.
Hey, Nick, can you get me a beer? Sure. Frozen. Let you sleep for a week. I got to go to work tomorrow. Nah, bro, you already missed your shifts. Fired.
That would not be funny.
At what
It's
point would Nick be going, well, I'm going to be frozen if I do this, so no?
I'm just gonna stay right where I am, and then a trapdoor would open and it'd be frozen.
Yeah, Nick would fall into the Nick would fall into the trap. I'd make sure of it. Nick is easily tempted by beer and food.
Yeah. And Mariana. But she'd be hard to rope. No, she would think it's hilarious if I got frozen in carbonite.
I would get a hologram of her. Nick, come here.
I'd be like,
All right.
what?
Yeah.
Mariana's here?
Yeah,
Huh?
frozen. See you later. Anyways, all I'm gonna say is Jawas are pretty badass,
They work really fast.
and they speak really fast.
They're also
Yeah.
really annoying, so I get why you would want to deal with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get annoyed by them?
I understood why you call them dicks. You're like, oh, you just took my ship. I left it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he took the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
The little dicks.
Yes.
They're like carpenter ants, but worse.
Yeah, but the thing is like I was looking at what they took of the parts. Like, what are they gonna do with like 3 metal pieces of the side of the ship?
Melt it down into something, I guess.
I don't think they're melting anything.
They're just selling it.
I think they're the galaxy's hoarders.
Yeah, more or less.
You know, they need an intervention.
A
And then they
hoarding
get other
intervention.
species to do stuff for them because, hey, look, you needed those 3 little parts that I have for some random reason.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, give us the baby," and he's like, "No," and they're like, "Get us an egg," and I'm like, "An egg? That's all you wanted?" And I thought it was going to be like a golden egg, like they went to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and like the golden ticket.
You got a
Golden
golden egg
egg.
from the golden
Yeah,
goose.
yeah, something like that, and all they get was
Like,
they opened it and just started eating the yolk. Ooh, teeny.
yeah.
And you're like,
Sugar
wait
or
a
whatever.
minute, that's it?
So people online were saying, like, they're wondering if it's not just an egg, if that's, like, some kind of drug or something. Like, why they were freaking out. But, like, I'm going to use that as my headcanon because it's pretty lame that it's just a regular egg and they're freaking out over that.
Could be a delicacy like truffles or that sort of thing.
That's true. I'll go with that. That's a little more in universe.
Okay. Most important question of the whole night.
Okay.
Slayer, does the Mando give Baby Yoda back?
That's a hard one to say. They're tying it so like you hope he doesn't, but it's very possible that he just does. He says, "Hey, I'm not attached to it. This is my contract."
Not a chance, in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So I think if he does give it back initially, he'll end up back with Baby Yoda later, if that makes sense.
Like, hey, I gave him to him, and now I'm going to steal him back.
Right. I think he gives him to him and gets the Beskar because he's supposed to get a whole bunch of Beskar from this guy, and that's important to his clan. So he doesn't want to screw his clan over for some little Baby Yoda. You know what I mean? But I could definitely see him going back and rescuing him later or something.
Yeah, I don't see, like, it's still Disney, and I still think he's not going to give him back because I think this is a complete direction of the show.
They're just going to keep him. I feel like...
Like, a Stone Cold Killer turns soft.
Yeah.
So then would he try to steal the Beskar after, considering he knows where it is?
Maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
I feel like he definitely needs to get both. And those are big motivators for him. The Beskar especially. At least right now.
Yeah.
And I think he's building that relationship with Baby Yoda, but I don't think the relationship is on par to how much he wants that Beskar. Because that's not only important to him, it's important to his clan. And I think when they talk about, like, oh, hey, the excess from this shoulder piece that I'm making for you is going to go help the foundlings a whole lot.
Oh, there it is.
So, like, it's not only him and, like, the adults, that's helping kids, and it's helping finance his whole community. And that was just one piece. If you can get a whole bunch of that, that sets his whole community ahead by a ton. And that's really important to him.
Man, it could be used for Baby Yoda.
And, yeah, it could be used to armor up Baby Yoda.
I don't think Baby Yoda needs it.
No, but or he could armor himself up and then go be all badass and rescue Baby Yoda.
He needs a name.
I know.
No, he doesn't.
I kind of like that he does have a name. Like, do we have a name for Nick Nolte's character?
I have spoken.
I have.
He gave his name. I don't
forgot.
remember it.
Yeah.
But what is a foundling?
So I did some more internet. Do you know Slayer? What a foundling is?
I think I got to guess. Basically, I'm thinking it's orphans that they find who, hey, we're going to adopt you and bring you into the culture.
I think that's pretty much what I got online. Is Mandalorians aren't necessarily specifically from Mandalore anymore. It's people and based like orphans essentially that they adopt into their culture. So a foundling's probably a newly indoctrinated kid, basically.
And what do they mean? They said, do they know your
signet?
Signet. What the hell is that?
So
Clan sign?
Yeah, I think basically your clan sign, like your family emblem, more or less.
Huh.
So I don't know how that ties in. Like, if it's your original family, like where the hell you came from before you were a Mandalorian, or if it's like a Mandalorian clan thing. I'm not sure what that, but it seemed fairly important. Like, hey, like you're gonna earn the right to know your signet.
Right. Well, so I'm gonna build on that. Does that mean there's other Mandalorian clans and they fight each other? They're not all unified. So, like, let's say I'm in the Nick Signet Mandalorian clan, and then there's the Slayer clan over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm kind of playing the middle of it right now because nobody knows whose side I'm on.
Right.
Or I haven't been chosen by a clan to say, hey, we want to bring you into our clan.
That could be it too. I don't know. See, I don't know if they fight each other, but I'm from what I read online, there are definitely more than one like clan, if you will, of Mandalorians.
Well, there definitely was in all the Legends books. I just don't know.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so great that we have time to break this down.
Yeah.
Because you get to dissect each
snippets.
episode and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Where if it was all one content, you would only remember small snippets.
Right. Like it just glossed, like it would be clarified by the end of the season, and you would never like dissect it like this. You know.
At least not anytime soon.
Right. That's true. So it looked like, well, obviously the Mandalorian killed the IG droid, and that was a fellow guild member. Do you guys think that has repercussions?
Probably not.
It might. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Like, you could just blame it on he got killed getting that bounty.
I mean, you're going in competing bounties because it looks like it was different bounties that they're going for, not the same one,
But
from the same guy.
But they made an agreement.
No
Yeah,
one
I
else
don't-
knows that.
That's true. I don't know how they keep track of
Well,
that.
yeah, no, that's I don't actually know. I'm so excited for this. Oh, last question for me.
Mhm.
Do you guys feel the Mandalorian saved Jedi Fallen Order? Want me to give some context?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mandalorian came out, people are like, "Oh my god, best show ever." And Jedi Fallen Order came out, and nobody is like negative about it. And it might be because it's a good game, but I feel like if the Mandalorian wasn't here consuming content, the negative internet people would be destroying Fallen Order.
I tend to disagree. On Twitch, there were a lot of people streaming it, and it was like the number one game for a little while too. And most of the streamers have been giving positive reviews of it too, so that's bigger to me.
Yeah, I don't know that. So you and I chatted briefly about this before we started recording, and originally I was like, yeah, I think it did. Well, let me come out and say first, I think The Mandalorian put a positive spin on all Star Wars content because it was like, oh my god, finally we get some good Star Wars content that feels true, like it's just solid. There's not like big controversy like Episode 8 was and things like that. So yes, I think in that sense it did cast a positive light on all Star Wars content. But that being said, I think Jedi Fallen Order standalone is also really good. So I don't think Jedi Fallen Order needed saving to begin with. I think it's actually a good game, if that makes sense. So I think The Mandalorian helped it, but I think it was going to be positive regardless.
Well, I agree. I just think that it's... I think it helped deter negativity. So the people that might not be able to play it yet or something have content of Star Wars to consume.
Right.
Right? Where if The Mandalorian wasn't here, people would be only playing Fallen Order and they would find things to complain about. But because you're getting both ends of the spectrum,
yeah,
I feel like it's helping each other.
Yeah, like both. But them both being positive, it's like, oh, positive over here, positive over there, and it's harder to find negatives in either.
Right.
I get what you're saying. But I think they're both so good in their own sort of lanes that it wouldn't have mattered. I think they're both just good products.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, them coming out so close together kind of ties them together a little more. Gets a little more eyes on both.
Yeah, it's like they're mutually beneficial. It also helps that like they're both on different like areas of the galaxy. They're two different time periods and two different like types of characters, which is pretty interesting. So like it's the same. It's sort of that same effect. Like it's the same galaxy but different, but just a different part of it, which is also nice.
But far, far away.
Yes. And one of them is set a long time ago.
Slayer, thanks for coming on the show.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome back anytime. Thanks for coming on.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.